Good morning, all my Namibian friends. Lovely to see you all. It's really, really great to be back. It's Mark Joseph here from Mindful Revolution, and I know you're all asking the question, is that guy wearing his pajamas? Yes, I'm wearing my pajamas. I am. I'm very proud to wear my pajamas today because I know you all wearing your pajamas. No, you're not all wearing your pajamas. I can see Iani and Suzie are not wearing their pajamas, but I'm wearing my pajamas today. I'm wearing my pajamas in solidarity with all of those that are having a mental health crisis at the moment. And I guess also a health crisis. So on the back of a COVID crisis, we have also a mental health pandemic. And I know a lot of us are just struggling to put one foot in front of the other. And a lot of us are struggling to get out of bed. And I'm wearing my pajamas for you. I remember when my dad suffered from depression, he spent 1 year in his gown. And those were dark days. Those were sad days. So I'm wearing my gown for all of those that are just wearing their gowns and struggling. I hear you, I feel you, and this program has been and is for you. So let's just do a settling practice. I'm going to introduce you soon to two amazing ladies. But before we get into that interview, let's just take a moment to settle our mind, to bring ourselves into this moment, to switch off from your devices and except the device you're watching this on, obvious, but any other notifications that you got coming through your phones, etc. And let's do 3 deep, calming, beautiful breaths. You can breathe with me, breathing in through the nose and slowly exhaling out the nostrils. Nice. And again, nice and calm. And exhale out the nose. And one more big breath, breathing in through the nose. And then open your mouth and gently sigh the breath out. So let's just check in with ourselves. And you can keep your eyes closed and ask yourself the question, how am I today? How am I doing today? So we ask the self the question, and they say, there's a saying, if you name it, you can tame it. So up on my screen, I've got a meter. Can you imagine if you had a meter, like a little gauge on your head, and it could measure how you feel? So today I am definitely surviving. I got news last night that my best friend has the virus and he's just recovered from cancer. So I'm really worried. I didn't sleep very well. I'm trying my best to just get through the day, and then we get bad news and bad news and bad news, and it just keeps knocking us back. So I'm definitely surviving today. How are you, friends? You can pop in the Q&A, checking in with yourself. Are you in a crisis? Are you struggling? Are you surviving? Are you thriving? And are you excelling, perhaps? And I know not a lot of us are on the right-hand side of things, and that's okay. We're all scared. We can all be scared together. And I can tell you, I've never ever lived through a time like we're living now, and I don't think any of us ever have. But the way that we support each other, the way that we come together, and we find at this time, some meaning and purpose. Otherwise, I think, what's it all for? And I find that to keep hope alive and to develop meaning and purpose is a superpower at this particular time. And that's really our topic for today, is really exploring meaning and purpose. And I'm just coming into the chats. Where are you people today? Are you typing in your check-in. It's fine. I'd love to know how you are. Someone's anxious, and I'm going to miss you too. We've got one more session tomorrow. Anonymous is saying, I'm in a crisis. Wendy is surviving. And it's okay. It's okay. Can we join other sessions? This has really helped me. There's a question there. Thank you so much for your comments. Let's see what we can do. We'll try all we can. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comments. And I'm going to miss you too. And I'm sure this is not the last of it. We'll keep going. The response has been amazing. And I know that the recordings have been shared with those that are in hospital, with others, family members that are in a bit of a crisis. So joining me today are two lovely ladies. I have Iani the Kock and Suzie Seha. Let's start with Iani. I just want to introduce Iani. She was living in Costa Rica, and she's the beautiful lady on the left with a blondie pinky hairstyle. And she was living in Costa Rica. She had an existential crisis and packed her bags and left Costa Rica. That's one place I really would love to go. She moved back to Namibia. She did her honors and her master's degree in clinical psychology, as well as studying logotherapy. And she uses Viktor Frankl every single day. One of my favorite psychologists of all time. I've been quoting Viktor Frankl so much. Iani, if you can share with us, how did it make you feel? I mean, was there a time in your life that felt meaningless?
I think I've had a sense of meaninglessness a few times throughout my life, on a scale of slight existential anxiety to, full-blown crises. It's like you just kind of feel something is not right in the world. You might not necessarily quite know, but, there's a sense of I'm not living the life that I should be living. Compared to when you're in a full-blown existential crisis, you're like, what is the point of any of this? What is the meaning? As you said, and it can spiral into complete cynicism and nihilism. And definitely there were days where I was in my bedrobe and couldn't get out of bed at the worst of it.
Thank you for sharing your vulnerability with us, Iani. And I guess when we feel like life is meaningless, as you say, it's that existential crisis. What is it all for? What am I here for? It's just one blow after the next. It's just so hard to recover. Iani, when you felt that things had no meaning and you had that crisis, what sort of behaviors did you display at that particular time?
Okay, I think what we try and do is we try and fill that void, we try and fill that emptiness, and we try and fill it with with other people. We try and fill it with busyness or, with wine. We try and make that emptiness go away. And, I think at some point also I tried to just run away. I think going to Costa Rica was part of that running away. But what I also realized is I think that not wanting to be with emptiness is unavoidable. It follows you. Wherever you go, there you are. I also did realize in this process of trying to fill it with other people or try and fill it with, stuff, that helped me to figure out what was important. It's this emptiness tells you something in my life is not giving me meaning. And it was this kind of figuring out that it's not this and it's not these people and it's not this activity. It also did help me understand what was actually important and meaningful for me. And I think over time, as we survive these voids, you figure out what's the golden thread in your life that does give you meaning and purpose. And for me, that was trying to contribute in some way or form. That is my life thread, trying to in some way make the world a better place. And once I could figure that out and change and align my life with those values, that's really when I got out of this crisis. My bags and came home.
You just proved to me that when you are in that crisis, if you develop some sort of meaning, how that lifts you and how that picks you up. And it's not just you, Iani, it's all of us as human beings. I believe it's our birthright to want to help others and to contribute to the well-being of others. And in that, our soul is fed. And I can see that you are that kind of person, but I do believe that in every human being, we all have that. We all have that desire. And I know some of us, it doesn't seem like it, but I think at the end of the day, we all have a desire to want to help others and find some sort of meaning in life. You know, and I always think about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's model of grief. You know, this anger and denial and depression and acceptance, and then, you know, like landing up, like finally getting to acceptance, but actually there's another one beyond that, and that is meaning and purpose. And that's really, and I believe you've studied logotherapy. Is that right, Dr. Frankel's work?
Yeah, and look, I really resonate with what you say with those stages of grief. I think we should change it and include that, because that's also what Frankel would say, that not even death can take away what that person has meant to us. So it's not just accepting their loss, I think it's moving our perspective from the loss to what they have meant and still continue to mean to us. I've also lost quite a few close people. It feels like every single day I'm losing someone else. And we can stay ourselves blind at the loss, but I'm trying to just really focus on in terms of what they mean to me still.
Absolutely. I lost my father to suicide 26 years ago, and he wore a gown for a year before he died. And his death has had tremendous meaning on my life, because I'm now doing this work because of him. And, you know, people say, was that sad? Was it depressing? Yes, it was. But actually now it's my joy, and it's given me purpose, and it feeds my soul. So thank you so much, Iani. Such a pleasure to hear these beautiful things from you, and what a beautiful person you are. We're going to move on to Suzie. Suzie came to this field of work of wellness and psychology through a crisis. She was a graphic designer, and her daughter drowned, and she actually resuscitated her. But this crisis led to a series of changes in Suzie's life. Suzie, I welcome you onto the platform. And was there something in your life that was really difficult, a time of suffering that gave you great meaning? What was it, this particular time of the drowning of your daughter and the resuscitation?
Hi, Mark. If I'd known that you were going to be in your robe this morning, I have a matching one, I think. And I think it's really unfair you didn't give us the chance to stay in ours. Actually, I mean, we all have many times in our lives when there's a crisis, but yes, this one is really the one that I can pinpoint to, that pivotal or that catalyst in my life. Obviously, I didn't realize it at the time, because it felt as if when we found her, when she, at our home, when she drowned, I went through all those stages of like grief, but in a very short space of time. So it was like shock and denial, and then anger and pain, and eventually I was like, okay, well, she's dead. And then taking action, and I resuscitated her. And I mean, even that fact that gave her, that breath gave her life again. At the time, I didn't know the significance of what that was going to be in my life. So, but yeah, that was really the moment. And it wasn't only then, it wasn't those few minutes of that. It was really the after effects as well, because once she was fine and she was like rebounded from that, like she was okay. Then it started with me. Whenever I left her, I'd have these anxiety attacks. I would be somewhere and I just couldn't be there anymore. I had to get home, and I would panic. I'd cry. I'd be in a meeting and I'd burst into tears. And I didn't have the tools. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I started to figure things out, but at that time, that was the point. That was the point of change. Yeah.
I guess one could say that that's sort of post-traumatic stress from that incident. And there's, I mean, as a parent, there's nothing worse in life than losing a child,
or having to face that in some way, which you faced. Fortunately, thank God, your child was resuscitated and recovered so well. But it really, that is just tremendously traumatic, and I can imagine a huge life-changing event for you. And going through that trauma and what you had to deal with, I mean, at what point did you find meaning and purpose? How was that possible? Like, what did you get out of that?
You know, I would say the time that I got the meaning and purpose was at that moment, but as I say, I didn't know that then. She related to me. I mean, she was a tiny little toddler, but as soon as she could express herself, she related to me this death experience that she had. And she herself calls it a death experience, not a near-death experience, because she's like, it wasn't near death, I died. And she related this to me in this little voice, in this tiny child. And that to me was like, wow. And then she would be just everything she expressed thereafter, the way she would see energy in people and tell me about it, because she didn't know that this wasn't really what other people saw. And so it piqued my interest in looking up these things. And so as we looked them up, as she told me things and I looked them up, so things popped up in my life, which led me to a total change in what I do. So it took me, it was almost like it was this planned process where I was exposed first to the energy system of the body, and then the whole miraculous way in which our body works together, and how we can use these gifts of what we've been given to really help us in our life. And then sort of moving through a whole lot of different modalities and coming to breath work as well. And then that significance of how that breath work linked back to that pivotal moment for me. So I guess the immediate effect would be that it was a blessing just to be a mother. And the long-term effect would be my whole life changed.
Yeah, amazing. Gee, what an incredible story. And I'm so fascinated about, I mean, I could talk to you now for the rest of the day about what your daughter experienced in those moments. My friend was diagnosed with COVID last night. He's a cancer survivor. He actually died on the operating table. And he told me a story, a dream that he had, like dream. And he said he could see himself looking down on himself from the roof. And, you know, like, I mean, it's just profound. It's so incredible, because I know I don't have any fear for him, because I know if COVID does take his life, which is a huge probability, that I know that he's told me where he's going, and he's told me that it's a very real experience. I don't want to get into it now, because I'm going to start getting emotional, and I can just feel that your daughter and what I went through last night, there's a connection between your story.
Yes, I mean, my daughter, just her story has changed quite a lot of the way that I do react to death. Yeah, I mean, she said that she was given the option to come back. You know, yeah, without going into too long a story about it, but she said that she didn't really want to go, and she could choose. She could come back to me if she wanted, and she said to me, and I chose you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, yeah.
I feel some sort of extreme meaning and purpose out of our conversation today with Iani and Suzie. I never expected it to be this meaningful, but it's just blown me away. Thank you, ladies. We're going to move into a practice now. Just seeing some comments. People are struggling, surviving today, says Helena. V said these sessions have helped me to have more thriving days. Thank you. Bernadette is surviving. Anonymous is saying, I feel energized and optimistic. I'm just energized, and I've gone from a 4 out of 10 today to an 8 out of 10 just by chatting to these two amazing ladies. I have this image that we've designed recently, and I'd like to pull it up again, because I think it's a great practice image for us to do together. So please just place 2 feet firmly on the ground with your hands in your lap, and you can see the gentle breeze blowing, the breath. Let's take in a lovely, deep, smooth inhalation, breathing in through the nose and exhaling it out the nose. Let's take another deep breath, breathing in through the nose. And then gently releasing out the mouth, slowly with control, like a gentle breeze in the sky. Looking at this image, the analogy is that the tree is like your body. Let us move our awareness into our bodies right now. How is the body feeling? Scanning your body briefly, moving your awareness through your body, and being aware of your senses, the fact that you can hear me, the fact that you can smell, and that you can see, and that you can taste, and that you can touch. Let's acknowledge this. And this helps us to ground ourselves into the moment. I am enough. I'm doing my best. And my best changes from day to day. But today I'm feeling fine and I am enough. It's a difficult time. And then I can shine the light of the sun on me and say, please, I just want to feel my gratitude for myself. I'm grateful for what I've done through this time, how I've showed up. Be grateful for your good qualities, for the things that you've done for others. Be grateful for what you've got, your health, the things you own, your family. Coming back to self-compassion, it's okay to put up a little fence, your boundaries, and to say, look, I'm only going to do as much as I can handle right now, today. And some days are duvet days with pajamas, and other days you put your suit on and you're feeling okay. And it's okay to feel okay about not being okay. The curious cat is sitting in the tree can remind us to be curious about the way that we feel, about our thoughts that are going on right now, about other people's points of view at this time. The cat can remind us not to be judgmental. The little doggy is our subject of mind that runs away, and we can encourage the little doggy to come back. Kom terug. Come back to this moment. Let's breathe in again, a gentle breeze, breathing in through the nose. And slowly exhaling it out. Emotions are like clouds, they come and go. We are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions. They just pass through. The sunflower reminds us of our values. What values do I have today? Can I practice my values? My values will make me happy, like a beautiful flower. And if I'm practicing breath, body awareness, self-compassion, boundaries, keeping myself in the present moment, coming back, being aware of my emotions, being aware of my values, shining the light of gratitude, then I can fly like a bird, like an eagle. And from that place, I can develop my vision. I can clearly see meaning from a beautiful height. I can see, oh wow, this has a purpose. What I'm going through, all of this, it has meaning. And I can rejoice in that. Let's take a deep breath again, breathing in through the nose and slowly exhaling out the mouth. There's so many things in that image, and I will be sharing that image with you. So many elements that can finally bring us to a place of meaning and purpose. If we're not practicing self-care, it's going to be very difficult to see with clarity what did I get out of this? What am I getting out of this? Otherwise, it's pointless. And I can tell you nothing is pointless. Everything has meaning. Albert Einstein said, there are two ways to look at life. One is though nothing is a miracle, and the other is though everything is a miracle. It's difficult to think that way when a loved one passes on or when we're in a crisis. But we can look at that loved one and say, well, I know this has been terrible and traumatic, but the miracle was that they were in this world and that I loved them and that I knew them. That is the miracle, and we can find meaning and purpose in just about anything and everything. Iani, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Are there any words you'd like to say before we go?
Everything we do in our lives, even when we feel like life is meaningless and there's no point, that's all part of the process of clarifying for you what really is important.
And Suzie, are there any parting comments you'd like to add before we close?
Yeah, Mark, what you said earlier is when you said I am enough, I think that is such an important thing to remember. And the fact that we have feelings, we have emotions, that makes us human beings so remarkable. And I think that we really have to allow ourselves to feel them. It might be really difficult, but I think the sooner you feel them, the sooner you can heal. And so really embracing that, as difficult as it might be, and also being perhaps of support to someone who needs to express their emotions, just be that safe pillar for those people. And then, of course, gratitude. Gratitude. Thanks so much, Mark, for having us here.
Thank you, Suzie. Gratitude. Yeah, let's be obsessively grateful. I'm obsessively grateful to have been in the company of these two beautiful ladies today with so much wisdom and so much meaning and purpose. Thank you for sharing your stories and for your vulnerability. This is how we help people, and this is how we save lives. Thank you, Wendy, for your comments. Namaste. And friends, we have one more session tomorrow. Please join. It's going to be a great session. I might even put my suit on for that one. I'm sure I won't be in my pajamas for that one. So yeah, I see our time is up. Thank you. Please be well. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves and keep shining that light on your life. Let's not sink into despair. I know things are hard. Just keep your chin up and your heart strong. We come back tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you. Bye now.